If I had to take the TOEFL test tomorrow, the first thing I would do is only watch this video, nothing else. No quick tips, no vocabulary, nothing like that. Only this video because you can't waste any time. We're gonna make sure that you spend the next 4 hours. This is gonna be a 4-hour study plan on the most important things you should do before you take the test tomorrow. So we can't waste any time with any unnecessary information. The first thing we're gonna talk about is your 4-hour study schedule, your 4-hour study plan. This can work if you're gonna take the test tomorrow or 2 days or 3 days, whatever it is. The second thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you some free and paid sites you can use depending on your budget and what you wanna do. And the last thing, I will give you 2 things that you should know about each section, just the most important kind of tips for each section of the test. So let's get into it right now, and let's start with your first step. It's going to be to take a TOEFL practice test. And this is gonna be actually 50% of your time. 2 hours is going to be just taking a practice test. It is so important for you to take a practice test because it gets you used to the structure, it gets you used to the question types, it gets you used to how it's gonna feel to sit there for 2 hours and actually take a test. It's pretty uncomfortable, so you wanna get used to it. Also, you wanna make sure that you follow the rules. Make sure you follow the timing for the reading. Make sure you give you spend the right amount of time. Make sure when you're listening, you only listen to the audio once. When you speak, have some device ready to record your voice so you can check those recordings later. That's going to be really important. When you're writing, make sure you have spell check off because on test day you won't have spell check. The good news is that you can take a free practice test on YouTube that follows all these conditions at the TST Prep YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description to that. You can also have a paid test as well through the ETS website. It's like $50. One thing about this test that's helpful is that it will grade your speaking and writing. Whereas the YouTube video, you'll have to find some other ways to grade your speaking and writing, which I'll show you in a minute. But for now, you should take a practice test. That is crucial. And not only should you take a practice test, but follow the same time. Don't give yourself more time. Don't, listen to an audio passage multiple times. Follow the exact test structure. That's why it's good to do the YouTube video because everything is laid out exactly how it'll feel on test day. I imagine the ETS website will be the same as well, so make sure you take that test. And that's 2 hours, so that's half your time right there. Take a practice test. Stop wasting time with tips and tricks. Take a practice test. After that, your next step is to check your answers. Now, this is going to take about 30 minutes. It'll be a bit faster if you do the ETS test because they'll grade your speaking and writing for you. Our test on the YouTube channel has an answer key in the description as well, so you can check your answers there. And then also, if you are checking your own speaking, you have 2 options. You can upload your recordings to Elsa Speech Analyzer for free, or you can pay for a grade on each of them, either at My Speaking Score, or you can meet with a teacher at tstprep.com for a speaking evaluation. It's up to you how you want to do that, but one of those options would probably be best for you. And then for writing, you can use Grammarly. It'll give you a score of a 100-point scale. It won't give you a very good idea of a TOEFL test score, but it will let you know your strengths and weaknesses for your writing. And I'll put a link in the description to that as well. And that's gonna take about 30 minutes to check your answers. Now that's really, really important. We're just checking. That's it, we're just checking what's going on right now. The third step is to take a break. So you've been doing the TOEFL stuff for 2.5 hours now. You took a practice test, you check your answers and your speaking and writing. You might have went to another website to check your speaking and writing, or you found a teacher to give you a grade. Now just take 15 minutes, relax, have a cup of coffee, think about your next step because this next step is really important. This is the most important next step. So I want you to be refreshed and energized for this next crucial step. So for the next hour and 15 minutes, check your test and see what areas were confusing. Which question types didn't you understand in the reading? Which listening passage was most difficult? Which speaking question were you really confused about? You want to ask these questions and look for answers online. Now, I will warn you that you probably don't want to ask ChatGPT or any AI software right now, just because when it comes to the specifics of the test, the answers it gives is not great, at least in my experience. If anybody has a different opinion, you could write it in the comments, that's fine, but I've found that the test is a bit confused about good advice on specific details about the TOEFL. General things are okay, but when you start getting more specific, the more important things about your strengths and your weaknesses and your questions, I would recommend the TOEFL emergency course. We have the premium course, which is perfect, that has study plans for anybody with less than a month to prepare. I know most of you are in a hurry, but if you have a bit more time, we have study plans for 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and 1 month. And this shows you pretty much everything you need for each section, answers all the questions, and kind of clears up any confusing parts that you have. This will save you a bunch of time because instead of, Googling or looking on YouTube for answers, you can just go to the course and you can go to the video that's directly connected to your question. So that'll save you some time, but it does cost some money. I'll put a link in the description to an offer just for the YouTube audience, but that is the last step in this study plan. But we do have to talk about some things that you need to know for each section of the test. So far we've done the 4-step study plan. You take a test, check your answers, take a break, and then review. You could use a course to help you find answers to the questions you have about the test. Also, I've given you some websites to use: ETS's official website, TST Prep, My Speaking Score, and Grammarly. And now, this is what you need to know for each section. First, the reading section. For the reading section, you want to scan the passage and then answer the questions as you read. You might be surprised by how little time it is to actually read and answer the questions. 18 minutes is going to fly by. So you want to make sure that you scan the passage quickly and read and answer the questions at the same time to make sure you have enough time to finish. Also, you'll notice that the last question, there's 2 reading passages, the last question in each passage is question 10, which is a summary question. This takes more time to answer. So make sure you leave yourself plenty of time to answer the summary question at the end, because that asks you about the whole passage, so it's harder to answer. For the listening, you want to take notes to make sure that your mind doesn't wander. One thing that you're probably surprised about in the listening is that it's long. It's like 5 minutes, and it's hard to listen to anything for 5 minutes. I'm shocked you're hearing me speaking right now for 5 minutes, for more than 5 minutes. So you want to make sure that you take notes to help you stay focused and on task. And also, write down mostly verbs and nouns and consonants. You don't have to write a, and, the, of, to. Those are what we call function words, and you don't need to write those down for the listening. Speaking, I would memorize your introduction to each speaking question, just a template for each introduction, because it's hard to speak on command. They're going to say 3, 2, 1, speak, and you're probably it's hard to start. It takes you a second or two to start. So know exactly how you're going to start for each question type, and that'll help you just kind of start on a good note, on the right foot. And then also posture, attitude, positive thinking, all these things they affect your score. When you're shy, you're hunched, you're like this, you don't know what you're saying, this is going to hurt your speaking score. These things matter. Back straight, chest out, confidence. It's little things that really do make a big impact on your speaking. And the last thing is for writing. Make sure you leave enough time to edit. I think I mentioned this before, but there's no spell check, so make sure you check for typos. And then also, you want to try to write longer sentences. So if all of your sentences are really simple, like I like cats, cats are fluffy, I have a cat named Bob, whatever, that's not a very interesting sentence, and also it's not going to help your score. You want to try to write longer sentences, use conjunctions like and, or, but. If you feel confident, use a conditional like if then sentence. That's really going to help improve your score for grammar and show that you have an advanced level of English. If you want more practice and more tips for free, we have free practice tests and free practice questions at tstprep.com. I'll put a link in the description to make a free account, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found that helpful. And now it's a fast study plan, so time to get to it and take a practice test. I'll put a link somewhere here. Good luck on your test tomorrow. I'll see you next time.